This is either a cry for help or Disney is just waving the white flag at this point. I don't see how Bob Iger or Kevin Feige or any of the other studio heads or anything at Disney wouldn't just pull the plug on releasing this movie at this point. I don't know if it's too late to make it a tax write-off or something, but I mean, just looking at this poster, it's literally everything wrong with modern entertainment. When geek stuff became popular, all these stupid SJWs who never cared about this stuff got involved and they demanded it be made to suit them, even though it was already doing bigly.
Gonna win bigly, believe me.
Listening to these idiots is how we got here. They make liking corporate products like a moral issue, and then these studio heads and producers or whatever, they're afraid to just say, look, we ain't in the social justice business. We in the making money business.
Cousin, businesses are booming.
Your boy Zach said this looks like an ad for Halloween costumes, and he's right. This looks like, even though they're actual actors in the movie, they just look like randos who who are just promoting Halloween costumes. Ms. Marvel already had a terrible costume, but this one looks even worse. And I don't know why they took away her mask. Doesn't she have a secret identity? That doesn't matter anymore. See, the thing is with SJWs, when they design women costumes, it's jokes. They don't. I mean, like, at least in Ms. Marvel's case, she's Muslim. So I get it. They want her to look modest. She's a teenager. But there's got to be a better way to do this. They could still make her look appealing and not stupid. Like, I don't know. But one of the reasons why I think these costumes are designed so poorly is because, these costumes are meant to be cosplayed by lazy people. So you're going to have, like, these goofy people who actually don't read comics, but might want to go dress up at a convention somewhere and be like, look, I'm Miss Marvel. And Captain Marvel, she really looks bad. Like, she looks miserable, right? But she's also way too skinny. And look, I think Brie Larson is hot. Not at the moment. Like, I follow her Instagram, and she's just way too skinny. She used to look good, but now it's like she's just way too skinny. And it makes her head look really large. And then, really, she just looks miserable. All right. But Monica Rambeau probably looks the best. She still doesn't look great. And I know this is going to sound misogynist or whatever, but a lot of black women that they choose to be in this geek stuff always seem to be out of place. Like when they're posing or they're just standing in their costume, they look so awkward. It just looks like they don't fit, like they don't belong there. Like, by and large, there's not a lot of black women who are in this geek stuff. I mean, you have some YouTubers, some people on Twitter, whatever, but there's not a lot of them. And they just don't seem to take to it naturally for the most part. I don't know. Part of it is just down to how they hire people. Even when it comes to, okay, you hire a black woman to be in, The Little Mermaid or Batwoman or whatever. But you hire these people who don't care about bringing the best out of black women.
I know people are going to hate me, but I'm willing to just risk saying my honest opinion about things that probably a lot of people would say, but are not saying because they're afraid that people are going to cancel them or something. I don't see why that should be just a big issue. Everybody doesn't have to feel exactly the same way, but I'm going to be completely honest. Another thing visually, I'm going to talk about Ariel because she is the main character, so we see most of her in the movie. When she's on the surface or even in some scenes, like when she's with Ursula, there are some scenes where she's just not lit very well. She doesn't look very flattering. And so the lighting that they cast on her, that they use, it morphs her face to make her look very ominous or amorphous. I don't know. There were just some scenes that were the lighting was just off. I don't know what they were doing, but they made her look so unflattering. She's a pretty girl, and they made her look hard in some of those scenes. Above the surface, when she gets her legs and she's on the boat, they changed up some of that. She gets discovered by someone. And when she's looking at her legs and she's smiling, she looks like there's no expression on her face. Her face is just this matte color. The hair is all washed out. Everything just looks like she just rolled out of a pit of sand and into some gravy. It just looks really horrible. I would have told the crew, add a bit of saturation on there. There's too much highlight over here. We need some shadows and some filler in here. There's too much straight light on her face. kind of back up some of that light off of her, give some to the side so we can get a little bit more of this shadow of her contours, so we can look like we're looking at someone's face, not someone who looks like they're strung out on meth. And sometimes in some of the scenes, she's very unflattering, and it's like, dude, you know, I hate to say it, but like a lot of the white characters, you try to make them look as flattering as possible. They don't have anyone that knows how to light dark skinned characters, and her skin isn't that dark. She's a lighter skinned person, but it feels like they did the bare minimum to make sure that she's always lit well, to make sure she's always shown it in her best self. Like when us girls take our selfies, we'll take like 20 different pictures, and if someone takes a picture of us, we're like, wait, let me see it, because we know that depending on the angle, even if we're pretty, we know that depending on the angle, you can look jacked up. I remember I took some pictures, I'm like, okay, I look so freaking good, but then you see certain angles and the lighting hits you and you look like freaking Frankenstein. You're like, whoa, okay, that looked really bad. That is not how I freaking look. Let's take that picture again. And maybe she's naive and you could tell that she's not experienced, but there's even a video. You know I'm not talking crazy, because there's a video going around right now that they decided to suggest to us on YouTube freaking 15, 20 years later, 20 years, you know what I mean, decade later, of Beyonce looking over some of the footage of her live, and everyone is like, oh, she's being so unreasonable. No, Beyonce is a freaking queen. She knows exactly what she's doing. Her mother also, I think her mother trained in theater. Her mother is, I don't know, I think her mom was like in that field with makeup art or something. I don't want to lie, but she got some of that experience from her mom teaching her, and Beyonce knows, okay, I look good. I want to always make sure I look good, and she says in this video,
let's start it over. I'm sorry, y'all. It's really got me stressed out. That don't look good. The angles and the lighting is not pretty as a whole. Play it again. And I hate all that ugly blue light. I'm a black girl. You can't put blue lights on black girls. I can't trust them. They don't know what they're doing. Just give me a nice spotlight. I'm gonna work my coat. I don't care if a light is showing me or not. If I gotta run down all the way on that, ring the alarm, that's what I'm gonna do. Just have a nice spotlight following me the whole time.
And she let these people know, I don't like the way that makes me look, because she understands most of what sells from her is her sex appeal, is her beauty. And I'm sorry, if you're paying someone and they're making you look like ass, they should get fired.
And a big thing is, they already usually pick the most busted looking black women they can find in a lot of this stuff. Like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they chose this person to be in Indiana Jones. Like, I don't know, one of the coolest periods, I don't know, for me, late 60s, early 70s kind of period in history. When you look back at the clothes, and especially with the black woman, the afros and stuff, you know, that whole like Foxy Brown type look or whatever. And then they pick this woman, and it's like, okay, if you're going to give us Foxy Brown, give us Foxy Brown. Pam Grier was fine as fuck back then. Yet you're giving us this. It's like, stop trying to defeat the male gaze with this bullshit. I just, okay, at this point, this poster clearly isn't, they don't care, right? They just don't care. This is a big budget film with a character that's supposedly the most popular hero in the Marvel Universe. And they're so uninspired that they just put out this toothpaste ad with these fake superheroes. And is everybody supposed to be excited? Or again, like I'm saying, are they just like, just put it out there. We know we got to put this movie out at the end of the year. Let's just go through the motions. What's the point of even having like a studio that's supposed to make superhero stuff if you don't care about superhero shit? I don't see any of these characters as superheroes. They just, and the thing is, they don't see them as superheroes. You know, like Feige, whoever else is now, because I know Victoria Alonso was gone, but whoever else now is pushing this version of the MCU, all they see now is representation. And representation doesn't work because they can't be people. They can only be a stand-in for like every feminist or black woman or Muslim girl on the planet. So you end up with this sort of entertainment tofu that you can't do anything with, you know, even though you know it's going to fail. Like, they know this is going to fail. Like I said, I don't know if it's too late to do a tax write-off or what, but I don't see what benefit you get out of releasing this at this point. And I know that there's pressure from Twitter, but I wouldn't take Twitter seriously. Like, there's so much going on in like the culture war today. Pride failed, the stuff with Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney, like, it's clear that there's a backlash against this SJW or woke garbage that's been going on for the past few years. It's obvious that if you just ignore it, you can do what you got to do. I mean, if you cared. I guess you just can't change the marketing and direct this to women and teenage girls, you know, because they're just boring. These are just boring characters. None of them are attractive. Like I said, Brie Larson looks miserable. She doesn't look good in the costume. Kamala Khan was purposely cast not to look threatening to teenage girls. And no one cares about Monica Rambeau, you know, which sucks because she's the only Captain Marvel I recognize. At least, you know, when it comes to Marvel's Captain Marvel. She's the only Captain Marvel I recognize. But Marvel is supposedly so inclusive, they decided that they couldn't have the most popular hero in their comics universe be a black woman. So they gave it to the blonde white woman instead, which is hilarious. It's this virtue signaling thing they do where it's like, oh, we care about diversity and inclusion, but we're not making them that special. We're going to give you scraps when we race swap, and then we're going to take the name away from an actual black woman who was Captain Marvel and just give it to a white blonde woman. Everybody's supposed to just cheer. I don't even know what the hell they were thinking when they made this stupid movie. I mean, I know what they were thinking. They were thinking they could just make this movie to appeal to Twitter, and then male fans would have no choice but to watch the film. Because for some reason, the MCU is so important that male fans will just put up with anything. And if you complain, then, you know, they'll just attack you online and they'll call you a bigot and say, but this wasn't made for you. This wasn't meant for you. But they still need you to prop it up. It's so stupid.
As women, because we can make our own money and we can support what we feel is the entertainment we want based on how it represents us, but then again, we too need your money because you guys do make up the majority of the box office sales. So if you want to prove that you're not misogynists, you can buy the tickets even if you don't plan on watching the movie.
Is for men to have enough empathy to go see movies starring women. Because I've been asked to go see movies starring men my entire life and happily have done so. And I don't know why men don't return the fucking favor.
Better yet, find an independent woman near you and buy the ticket for her to go see with her girlfriends. Can't find one who's interested in seeing the movie for reasons that have nothing to do with the theory that the movie is just god-awful? Then go see it with your man friends, but don't you dare say jack about it unless you're singing its praises. Remember, we don't need you, but we kind of do though.
Alright, so let's see. So the Barbie movie is coming out soon, and I'm not interested in it at all. It's only the kind of thing I would watch if I were a fan of like Greta Gerwig films, but I haven't watched anything she's directed yet, like anything. I mean, I loved her in The House of the Devil and Greenberg and Frances Ha, and especially Frances Ha.
Is that chick really moving to Portland?
Yeah. Before you go, do us another dance.
Okay.
I love her and Frances Ha. But I still haven't seen Lady Bird or Little Women. The thing is, though, I haven't watched those films because I'm concerned about them being like annoyingly feminist, you know. I'll probably check out at least Lady Bird at some point. But anyway, I don't know if Barbie's going to be a big hit or not. I hear it's got a feminist angle to it, and it's pitting the boys versus the girls. But since Barbie isn't for me, I really don't care. Like, it's one of those things, it's not for me, for real. Barbie's definitely not for me. So if they want it to be feminist, fine. You know, it's their deal. You know, if women don't have a problem with it, then I don't have a problem with it. Because, like I said, I would only watch it because if if you follow certain directors, then you just kind of follow all their films. But I'm not there with Greta Gerwig yet, so I don't know. The only thing is, I just wonder if it is successful, Barbie. If Marvel could find a way to link the Marvels to Barbie in some way, you know, and market it as something girls would really want to see. I doubt it because, like I said, SJWs think all women are feminists and that they like these boring looking women being like the LOL so random stuff that you saw in like the Marvels trailer, you know. And I think the only way they'd care at this point if this stuff was still popular with fans. Like if fans were like big upping the Marvels, then a lot of these normies would be like, yeah, I'm going to watch it too. And then of course you'd have the Twitter peer people, you know, pretending that they love Kamala Khan or Monica, whatever. But at this point, there's really no bandwagon for them to hop on anymore, which is why the films are, you know, the Disney films are, you know, less successful. And I don't know, going forward, I would scrap all these planned films that are coming up from Marvel, like Phase 6, 7, 5, whatever, right? I just get rid of all of them. And I don't know, they missed their chance with resetting everything with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. They literally should have just used that movie to just restart everything. They could have started again now with like they should have started all over again, rather, with the Fantastic Four and like the X-Men, maybe recast the Avengers and just do it differently.
Here we are. Oh my God, this is amazing. Lev, honey, you home?